The worn-out shoes clacked against the gleaming marble floor of the upscale cafe, a sound that always felt out of place. Ethan Thorne, with his perpetually rumpled clothes and a quiet demeanor, was an easy target for the sneers and whispered jokes of the other patrons. Ethan, sitting alone in an opulent, sunny cafe, looking a bit out of place in his simple clothes, nursing a small, cheap coffee. Other well-dressed patrons are visible in the background, subtly judging. He was a familiar fixture here, always nursing a single, cheap coffee, waiting for his girlfriend, Sophia. She, on the other hand, was all sleek lines, designer bags, and a laugh that tinkled like expensive crystal. A close-up of Ethan's hand holding his simple coffee cup, contrasting with a blurred background of a very expensive-looking designer handbag resting on a nearby table, hinting at Sophia's imminent arrival. Their pairing was a constant source of amusement for Sophia's friends, who openly questioned what she saw in him. Ethan didn't mind. He was used to it. He had a secret, a very heavy, very expensive secret, that he carried with a quiet grace. But today, the weight of it felt different. A sense of foreboding settled in his stomach, a chill that had nothing to do with the cafe's air conditioning. Episode 2. The Crushing Blow. Sophia finally arrived, her usual dazzling smile absent, replaced by a strained, almost pitying expression. She sat down, her expensive leather bag clunking heavily on the table, a stark contrast to Ethan's well-loved backpack. He knew immediately. The words, when they came, were clipped, rehearsed. "Ethan, we need to talk." His heart, which had been bracing for this moment for weeks, still lurched. She spoke of different paths, of needing someone who understood her world, someone who could provide the life she deserved. Her friends, who had conveniently gathered at a nearby table, watched with thinly veiled triumph. Ethan listened, his gaze fixed on the steam rising from his cooling coffee. He didn't argue, didn't plead. He simply nodded, a silent acknowledgement of her words and the end of their 2-year relationship. When she finished, he simply stood up, leaving his unfinished coffee and a part of his heart behind, and walked out into the bustling city, the quiet click of his worn shoes now a mournful echo. Episode 3. The Aftermath. The days that followed were a blur of quiet despair for Ethan. He retreated to his small, unassuming apartment, a carefully curated illusion of a modest life. The opulent mansion he truly owned, with its sprawling gardens and endless rooms, remained empty, a silent testament to the wealth he deliberately hid. He tried to lose himself in his anonymous work as a freelance writer, a job he'd taken to further his charade, but Sophia's words and the sting of her friends' condescending glances replayed in his mind. Meanwhile, Sophia's social media posts quickly showcased her newfound freedom and the lavish lifestyle she was now openly pursuing. Her friends showered her with congratulations, praising her for finally seeing reason. They painted Ethan as a burden, a drain, someone who had held her back. Ethan saw it all, silently, from the periphery, the digital world a cruel window into the life he was no longer a part of, and the scorn he continued to receive. He felt a quiet anger beginning to simmer beneath his usual composure, a slow burn that promised a future reckoning. Episode 4, A Glimmer of Change. One evening, as Ethan sat in his apartment, staring blankly at his laptop screen, a notification popped up. It was from his family lawyer, a stern, impeccably dressed woman named Ms. Davies. The message was brief, urgent, and requested his immediate presence at the Thorn Industries headquarters. Thorn Industries, the global conglomerate he was the sole heir to, the name he had carefully kept hidden. He hadn't been to the corporate building in years, deliberately avoiding any association with his family's immense fortune. Now, however, it seemed his carefully constructed world of anonymity was about to be irrevocably altered. A strange mix of apprehension and a flicker of something akin to resolve stirred within him. The time for hiding, it seemed, was drawing to a close. He looked around his small, unassuming apartment, a faint, almost imperceptible smile touching his lips. The game was about to change. Episode 5, The Unveiling. The next morning, Ethan dressed in his usual simple attire, a silent defiance against the world he was about to re-enter. As he stepped out of his modest apartment building, he noticed a sleek, black limousine waiting. Ms. Davies stood beside it, her expression unreadable. "Good morning, Mr. Thorne," she said, her voice crisp and professional. He nodded, a silent acknowledgement. The drive to Thorn Industries was a stark contrast to his usual bus routes, a journey that felt less like a commute and more like a passage into a different life. As they pulled up to the imposing glass tower, the sheer scale of his family's empire was undeniable. He felt a surge of something powerful, not just the weight of his inheritance, but the potential it held. The anonymity he had cherished was about to be stripped away, but with it came a newfound sense of purpose, a quiet determination to rewrite his own narrative. Episode 6, The Glass Tower's Gaze. Ethan stood before the colossal, gleaming glass facade of the Thorn Industries skyscraper, looking up at it with a mix of awe and firm resolve. The building towered over him, emphasizing the immense power and responsibility he was about to embrace. The anonymity he had cherished was about to be stripped away, but with it came a newfound sense of purpose, a quiet determination to rewrite his own narrative. He pushed open the heavy glass doors, stepping into a lobby that felt more like an art installation than a corporate entrance. Polished marble gleamed under soft, recessed lighting, leading to a sleek reception desk. Ethan stated his name, Ethan Davies, to the impeccably dressed receptionist. He noted the subtle shift in her demeanor, a polite smile giving way to a hint of recognition, perhaps even deference, as she directed him to the private executive elevator. It was clear his arrival was anticipated, adding another layer of intrigue to his already complex situation. The private elevator ascended silently, the city skyline expanding beneath him with each rising floor. When the doors chimed open, a woman with a no-nonsense aura greeted him, leading him to a spacious corner office. There, behind a grand mahogany desk, sat Arthur Harrison. The man, with silver hair and an air of quiet authority, rose, his gaze direct and assessing. "Ethan, it's good to finally meet you," Harrison said, extending a hand marking the true beginning of Ethan's journey into the Thorn legacy.